Hi everyone, welcome back to some more 3D printing. I'm Agustin Flawalistic and today we are going to review the BCN3D Sigma R17. First of all, huge thanks to Matter Hackers for this review unit. I recommend them as a reference for everything related to 3D printing, including printers, materials, accessories, and of course, support. Just to make it completely transparent, this review is based on my experience with the Sigma R17 during the last 3 weeks, and I haven't got any money or haven't been influenced in any way, just my experience, my review, and my opinion. So now let's get it started. Some weeks ago I did the unboxing, but let's recap. BCN3D is a Spanish company based in Barcelona. During the last years they've released different open source 3D printers, and in 2015 they released their flagship, the BCN3D Sigma. Early this year they presented the Sigma R17, a refined version of the original Sigma. Some of the new cool features are 1. Redesigned silent stepper motors, 2. Improved motion performance, 3. New cooling fans, and 4. A better touchscreen to improve the user experience. Also, they presented their hot-end family, a hot-end kit sold separately which includes 6 different hot-ends with different nozzles going from 0.3mm to 1mm. The main feature of this printer is the IDEX system, which consists of 2 independent extruders that allow you to print with different materials at the same time. The printer size is 46 by 44 by 68 cm, cables included, and the print volume is 210 by 297 by 210 mm, which is exactly the same print surface as an A4 sheet of paper. I've been testing this printer during the last 3 weeks in a real environment. It has been my main printer. I've been able to develop new projects with it, and it has allowed me to see some details I wouldn't have been able to see if I had just run some print tests. The first approach with the printer and the setup was really good. The printer comes already assembled and we just need to insert the button tubes, print glass, and extruder cables. I was used to laser cut or CNC 3D printer frames, but the Sigma uses a pretty rigid welded aluminum frame. The X and Y motion system uses some high precision rail system, and the Z-axis uses guide rods and lead screw. The IDEX system consists of 2 different extruders on the X-axis, each one with their own stepper motor, end stops, and belt system. Also, the extruder comes with its own purging bucket, which allows you to print dual extrusion models without having to use a prime tower or an U-shield. Both of them usually reduce the print volume. The main advantage of the independent dual extrusion system is that both extruders have access to all the print bed. If you print with only one material, the second extruder will stay on its home position without the need to be carrying it around, and think that would definitely reduce the print volume. The Sigma R17 uses some high quality metal parts on most of the printer, but you can still find some 3D printed parts in it, like for example the spool holders. The printer uses a button extrusion system, being the spools on the inside of the printer, one on each side. On the other side of the button tube, you find 2 all-metal extruders that come with a standard 0.4mm nozzle that can reach up to 280 degrees Celsius. The heated bed is made out of PCB and it can reach 100 degrees Celsius. The print glass, which is above the print bed, is attached with some magnets and can be easily removed. The calibration process is really easy and intuitive, especially the Z-axis calibration. Each one of the 2 extruders has an Z-axis end stop, and the printer checks with both of them in different parts of the print bed. After that, the printer tells you exactly how much you need to rotate the 2 bed knobs you can find under the bed. It's as easy as that. Also, if you want, you can fine-tune the distance between the nozzle and the bed in the menu without having to repeat all the calibration process again. Once the calibration is done, it's time to print. This dual extrusion benchy is one of the models from the SD card and it came out great. No U-shield, no prime tower, and yet a clean dual extrusion print, which is really cool. Okay, we printed a benchy, but now we want to print another model, something we've designed. The BCN3D Sigma offers two different possibilities. First, we've got Cura BCN3D. In BCN3D, they made their own version of Cura adapted to the Sigma. And then the other option is using Simplify 3D. BCN3D has also created a printer profile for Simplify 3D, and if you already have a license, you can use that software as it offers more printing settings than BCN3D's Cura version. Besides the two slicers available, BCN3D has also developed the ProGen, which is a profile generator for the Sigma. With this tool you can easily generate profiles and then import them in both Cura and Simplify 3D. We all know that the files that come pre-sliced in the SD card are usually high quality prints carefully selected. For that reason, I've been using this printer for some weeks with my projects and testing it with new models and designs. First, I printed this low poly Squirtle as it's probably the dual extrusion model I printed the most. It was an easy model just to check that everything was working. It was printed with no prime tower or U-shield and it came out great. Then I printed an overhang test and I was very surprised with it. The Sigma was able to handle it pretty well, having no issues even at 70° inclination, although at 80° it had some visual defects on the bottom part. Once I had tested basic settings and overhangs, I tried some big parts, as some 3D printers present some problems when facing big models. I first tried this low poly Donkey Kong and it came out great, but it was maybe too easy, so I designed a giant dual extrusion model to fully test the print volume. I will make a video of this model, but focusing on how the printer performed when printing it, I was very happy with the result. It has some issues, but I'm responsible for that as it was a 40-hour print and I changed some temperature and speed values during the print process to check how it performed. One of the main differences of this printer respect to the original BCN3D Sigma is the noise level. It has been improved. The average noise level when printing with the Sigma R17 is slightly lower than what I'm used to. Usually, if you print using a cooling fan with PLA, the noise will increase, but if you are, for example, printing ABS with no cooling fan, you will notice that noise reduction in the stepper motors. As I mentioned, I used the Sigma R17 as my main 3D printer during the last 3 weeks. I had the chance to develop some projects with it, and I'm very happy with the results. The printer adapted perfectly to my workflow, and I have a pretty clear idea of it. So, the things I loved about the Sigma R17 are, first, the bed leveling system. It's easy, fast, reliable. Also, it can be fine-tuned without having to repeat all the process again, and the fact that it's still a manual but assisted process means the leveling process will be done just once and not before each print as with some auto-leveling systems. Second, the print volume. The print bed is really big and those extra centimeters on the y-axis have given me many new ideas. Also, as a graphic designer used to work with paper, the fact that this printer has a build plate of the exact same size of an A4 sheet of paper is just awesome. The touchscreen is great. Used to small monochromatic screens, this full color touchscreen is a whole new level. It also has a clean and straightforward user interface, which also helps a lot. The whole structure is rigid and I didn't notice any wobbles or weak parts on this printer. The printer is big as it needed space to accommodate the IDEX system I mentioned, but in exchange all the components and filaments are on the inside of the printer. Also, you can reach all that parts and filaments from the front parts, avoiding those terrible moments when you need to reach the back parts of the printer. 5. The print quality. I haven't experienced any print quality issue except when I messed with the printer. And the printer just works, and that's what we want from it, right? The next thing is that it doesn't need a perch tower or UV shield. It saves space in the build plate and it generates less waste. The last thing and most important is the printer is fully open source. Some of you may not care a lot about this, but I really appreciate when I can find all the source files of the printer and the assembly manual without having to visit some strange websites. Now let's talk about the things I didn't love that much about the Sigma R17. First, when printing, the options available in the printer's touchscreen are a little bit limited. You can't reduce the print speed lower than 50% the original speed or 200% if you want to increase it. Also, you can't modify the fan speed when printing. The solution to this is really easy. It's just check carefully the slicing settings before printing, but we all have wanted once to change a parameter or two mid-print. 2. The slicing software you can use is also a little bit limited. You can either use BCN3D Cura version, which is free but limited, or you can use Simplify 3D, which offers infinite possibilities, but it's not free. I think there is a very big gap between these two options, and as I don't have Simplify 3D, I may have missed some of the potential of this printer. Then the purging system is not fully optimized yet, and small dual extrusion prints may generate more waste than expected. Still less than with a prime tower, but it's something. I just want to let you know that the guys from BCN3D are already optimizing this on their profile generator tool. Then the LEDs are always on, and I don't really like that bluish color. I would rather have some white lights or just the possibility to turn the LEDs off. This is a superficial detail, but you know, I prefer to be honest with you. And the last one is that the electronics fan is always on. It's a very low noise, but I would have liked a completely silent printer when it's not printing. Again, an easy solution, just turn off the printer when you are not using it. As you can see, all the things I don't really love about the printer can be easily fixed with either a small software update or they are just superficial details. So let's recap. The BCN3D Sigma R17 has a price of 2,655 euros or $2,695. While it's still an FDM3 printer, its independent dual extruder and print quality have really impressed me. I think their dual extrusion approach with the IDEX system is fantastic, and they eliminate some of the usual limitations dual extrusion 3 printers have. If this printer is suitable or not for you will depend on your needs, but in my case as a designer, I can say I'm very satisfied with the Sigma R17. Its quality, print volume and cool features open new possibilities, and that's exactly what I expect when I get my hands on a new machine. If you liked this video on the Sigma R17, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, hit the dislike button, and I would really appreciate it if you left a comment with your feedback. Also, if you want to support my designs, experiments, videos and more, I invite you to check my Patreon page. There you will get access to some exclusive content and updates. I would like to thank all my supporters, especially the Patreon MVPs, which are listed in the description below. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed with the review and see you next time.